Oh, sorry, as unprofessional as I am, I totally derped and missed out this section here, which is basically like this was my to-do list of what I was going to do on the project, and rather than actually do a proper design document, which is usually what I do, I basically made like a to-do list in this, and it has like sections of things that I was doing while I was developing it. So I was kind of developing this game in a really weird approach. I think I was doing in like a Easter holidays or something like that when I didn't have any sort of proper teaching to do, with probably a very dodgy sleeping pattern at the same time. Anyway, basically I had a to-do list and I was putting in order of the things that I wanted to do, and I was highlighting things of when I was getting them done. Yeah, so things I got on here was introduce a tile set, and that was something I produced. In fact, so I might be able to find it or open it up potentially. Let me find it in here. I think this was my crude tile set that I made, and I think I made a more complicated one with a lot more options to select. In fact, I think I know what I did because that took me hours and hours and hours. So what I got here is a tile set. You can kind of see the lines on it of how it's all cut up and stuff. And I think I had ones where you had like little cables that run through the corridors and stuff like that, and they can trigger like alarms, which was something I was going to add in. So you could hit a button and then somewhere else in the level it sort of the sound would travel through the pipe and then come out and ripple out, and you could use that to lure enemies and stuff. Anyway, yeah, and I had like these grates and vents and stuff like that, and they were only there for the purpose of, like, you know, when you're walking along and you step on like a loose tile or a plate, it goes crunk like that and it sends out a pulse. So it sends out a pulse when you didn't want to, and these were kind of some of the ideas I was sort of playing with. So I started off by developing these walls which go around, and then I got these like slanty walls that kind of go from the top of the wall down, so you can kind of really see where they are. From the top down perspective you can't really tell, and this is why I was doing these, and it was super complicated and blah, and it took forever, and it's not really something I really wanted to do again. So I think when I next do the graphic style I'll probably change it again. I'd still keep it black and white because of the name, and I think the name's pretty strong. Anyway, so graphic style in there, and then I've got, if I can move the scroll wheel properly, develop the room, blah blah blah. Basically, yeah, I had a problem where I connected the HUD, for whatever reason I was using it as in drawing straight off the player, whereas what I had to do is try and like fix it so like the HUD of the screen bit, the bit with the timer anyway, yeah, that was always in sync with where the player was, and this was something else I was working on. Then I did like a clock thing because I was trying to work out what would be important to a player, and I thought a timing system might work, and that was what I was doing before. And I coded my own clock, which was like, oh my god, I'd just done that, and then kind of probably realised that there's much better ways to do it. See, that's like a problem with Game Maker. It's like, well, not Game Maker itself, with just self-learning Game Maker. Like, you only know so much stuff in Game Maker, and then you know more, and then you're like, oh, all the stuff I've done before is coded badly, and like just go back and correct it. And it's kind of that endless cycle that you do when you keep correcting things and changing things over. And I think that's kind of was partly fun because you learn loads of stuff, and then the other part is like it's a bit infuriating because you're not actually made any more game. You just remade the bit that you've already made, and it's anyway. Yeah, then there was a menu system that I was going to do, and this was all the stuff that I wanted to put in the menu system, which I didn't get around to, which is probably something I'll end up doing at some point. Or I may reevaluate what I was doing. No. Oh yeah, I think one of the things I wanted to do on the menu system was have like it completely black, and then you hit the space bar and it pulses and it lights up where the options are and something like that. I don't know how practical that would be, because like the first time someone plays a game they're like, well, this is crashed and it's a black screen, I can't see anything. So maybe I'd have other things pulsing off, or just making it kind of interesting. Who knows? I'll try and work that out. Sometimes you just make something, test it, and then you're like, well, that was a totally awesome idea, and then until I tested it I didn't realise it was basically crap. Pulse scripts, blah. Oh yeah, the way I was doing the pulse is a big massive list of dirty code which I could have done probably in a script and just sort of automated it, but I think in my game making life cycle of whatever this was, I wasn't really using scripts, and I was just kind of doing it manually, and I probably can open up the code if I can find it. So spacebar, execute code, and then I think it's in here, and then it's just like create like a million objects individually, and then work out the angles in which they're supposed to shoot off. And you can see this bit here, and it's just like, I don't know why I didn't use a while loop. I just should have used it, and it would have made it so much easier. And I could have made it so that, oh, instead of this thing creating like 8 or whatever, it's creating 4 or something like that. And different objects do different things. Yeah, so that was really crude and ineffective, and really bloody complicated to set up. So that was one of those things. Different objects to interact with. Oh, the scroll wheel's annoying me. Right, yeah, so I have here basically gates and enemies and floor hazards and stuff like that, and that was some of the stuff I was talking about in the tile set that I was developing. So it's something I really want to pick up. Develop more. Yeah, make the game experience a bit more exciting. That's another problem really I have with it. I've got to make it a bit more exciting, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I can basically just improve just because I've learned stuff recently that is pretty applicable, I think. Oh, who knows what words it is. Anyway, I usually do these videos after like a full day of teaching, and by the end of the day I just kind of babble out stuff because I forget how to language. Alright, so that's how I did that stuff. Is there anything else I can really add to it? Floors, objects, not really, not that I can think of. It probably hit me like this one did just after I finished making the video, which is super amazing. Oh yeah, actually I know what it is. Like when I ran the game and you see it from the pulses before. In fact, I'm going to pause it and do that. Okay, so carrying on, this is the game. This is the original game anyway. When you do the pulse thing here, maybe it's not super obvious, but you can kind of see it, especially on the floor. When you do the pulse, it kind of lighting up squares at a time rather than like sort of roundish shapes. I think this might be something that if I changed the way I did the system to like something with shaders, rather than getting squares that light up, I wanted to have like a soft edge. And I think it was one of the reasons why I stopped on the project for so long, is like I wanted to figure out how to do that. And then you have the idea of how ways you can do it, but then you never put it into practice and you never actually do it. So I think that was what crippled me on my project originally. So rather than, I think I've got a piece of paper here, other than every time it kind of lights up and you kind of got this sharp edge on the edge of the pulses and that, it really wanted to have like a soft faded edge on it. So like it blends in. You know, sometimes when you see in like games like Command & Conquer, you see like the fog of war effect, and you can kind of see the circle marks on it on the edges of what you can see. I wanted more of a softer edge rather than a rough edge because I think that would look way better. Anyway, that was one of the things that was really annoying me with my project when I was working on it originally, and then I think I've just got back into teaching after the summer, after the Easter holidays when I was developing it, and I kind of just didn't carry on again. I did show it off to like 1 million people though. Anyway, that's where I am in this project, and I think I'll probably start developing some more stuff to this soon, probably right after I finished with the air hockey project. With the air hockey project, there will be more videos soon on that. I just was a little bit tired after teaching, so I didn't develop them, but I probably will do them well soon, like tomorrow in fact. Anyway, so this was SoNoir, and hopefully I'll get back onto this and developing it. Anyway, if you like what you see and you want me to do more, or maybe you've got like an idea that you think I can implement, or a better way of doing something that I've obviously done crudely in here, please post below and just give me some ideas, and hopefully we can develop this game together and it should be fairly decent. Imagine sound is something that I need to get into this if it's going to follow any of the inspirational material I've seen. Anyway, I'm Chris, and this is SoNoir.